Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Camp Rock. This is a 2008 film. It's an hour and 37 minutes long, and it stars Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers, among others. I know Julie Brown is in this only because of my age, and I watched MTV when they played music videos. She was a pop star herself in a sense, and she had her own show. Now she's not downtown Julie Brown. That was a different Julie Brown on MTV, but she was the redhead. She's like one of the camp counselors, and I think she's also one of the writers of this film. I think she's involved in some capacity in this film beyond just going, "Hi, I'm one of the camp counselors," and I'm announcing things from time to time. So, either way, if you're watching this movie, you're here because of Demi Lovato or the Jonas Brothers. Either more than likely Jonas Brothers or both. You know, you're probably a fan of those, or you grew up with them. Maybe I don't know, but it's hey, guess what the movie's about? It's about camp where you learn to rock or at least pop. There's not a whole lot of rock in this. It's pop music. Come on, it's the Jonas Brothers. Yeah, they can play their instruments and stuff, but it's pop. So, anyway, this is a story about Mitchie. By the way, we have already watched on this series Camp Rock 2, but we watched it like almost 2 years ago, and I've completely forgotten about it, except for the fact that it's also starred Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers. And they only did two, so it was never a trilogy. It was just sort of right to the end of that. I completely forgot about that movie, but completely forgot about what happened, because more than likely what happened was very similar to what happened in this one. It's a in the era of American Idol mania, imagine a camp where teenagers apparently go to become stars. Yeah, that's not a thing that really happens. Um, we focus on Mitchie. She's played by Demi Lovato, and she really wants to go to this camp because she likes to sing, she likes to perform, and she's good at it. Her parents, they run like a restaurant, like a food truck or something like that, and they're not really wealthy or anything else. It costs money to go to this thing, and there's not a really good chance that she's going to get to go to this thing. But of course she does, because otherwise, movie over in 10 minutes, or 5 probably. It's like, she doesn't get to go to camp. She just reads brochures and hears about it on the internet. You know, what's going on. Which would be really a really sad movie. Like, let's follow the story of the kid who didn't go to Camp Rock, no matter how talented they were. They just had a really sad, lonely summer. Let's watch that movie. Put that on Disney Plus. Make it a series. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, she goes, and she she of course meets nice girl who provides exposition, explains to her who all the people are, and there's she's like the smart one, the savvy one, the one you want on your side to show you the ropes kind of thing. But can you she's also not like the super popular hot girl that is always required in these things, who's also a bully and a diva kind of thing, and that becomes the arch rival of our main character Mitchie, who is what's her name, Martin plays Tess. I think that's what her name is, Tess. But yeah, so Tess becomes, she's the B word pretty much, and she's what, at all of 15 maybe. And I guess there's kids like that. I mean, it's a common theme of pretty much any teenage film, and particularly, teenage Disney Channel films. This is a Disney Channel original. Mean Girls was written pretty much with that premise, but also to kind of play up. I just sort of, I don't know, play on that premise, but also play against it. It's kind of weird. But that's Mean Girls. That's not on Disney Plus, so we're not going to talk about that. In this case, though, we get all the tropes. We get all the tropes when it comes to girls wanting to be popular and accepted, and of course even popular and accepted and connected to the popular ones, even if it means leaving behind the genuine people that she could probably connect with a whole lot better, rather than pretending to be something she's not. And which she does. She in that process, she pretends that her mom is a famous producer, off in another country, when her mom is really back in the kitchen cooking tonight's dinner at the camp, because mom and dad found a way to get a catering gig at the camp, which allowed Mitchie to go there on the cheap. So she can't. Tess, of course, she's got all the connections and she's got all the famous people in her family, or like her mom is on Broadway or something. I mean, it's all about connections. It's all about who you know. It's which is really actually pretty accurate. I mean, the cynical side will pretty much say yes, that is exactly how you get in the music business. It does not involve going to camp. And of course, up until American Idol became a thing, well, I mean, the Star Search existed way back when, but it was never on the level of American Idol. I don't know how many people on Star Search, there might be a few, that went on to be big names in the music business anyway. I'm sure there are. But can you think of them? No. But you can think of Kelly Clarkson. You can think of Kelly Clarkson and, Kelly Clarkson. And, that's American Idol, though, did make some temporary stars throughout the years. And this, of course, it taps into that thing imagine if you were a teenage kid and you just got to go to summer camp and you could possibly become a star and record with the Jonas Brothers, or in this case, Connect 3, which is the name of the Jonas Brothers' fake band. And their part of the story is that their last name is Gray, and they're a pop group that used to go to this camp. There's another part of that I'll tell you in a minute here. They used to go to this camp, and then they became big pop stars, and now they're just traveling the world making music videos too. But their lead singer, played by Joe, I think, Joe Shane, he plays Shane. Joe is just having temper tantrums on the set of their new music video, so the band is having hard times, and instead of having a drug problem or a drinking problem or anything else, maybe a weird relationship with your ex-girlfriend or wife, Mr. Ye, they just go, you know what, you're just going to go back to the camp where we started, which, obviously that's what pop stars do. They go back to camp to teach. Yeah. And that thing I said about how nobody goes to camp to become famous in the pop music world. The way you become famous or have any kind of swing whatsoever is your uncle or your parent's cousin 3 times removed is a producer in Hollywood or Nashville or London or somewhere. And they know this person who knows that person who knows that person, and they're willing to sacrifice all sorts of things, even their credibility, to make even a mediocre performer a star, especially of a certain kind of look, and willingness to compromise themselves in many ways. Well, you kind of figure in order to become a big star, you kind of have to win the final battle kind of thing, the final camp rock night or whatever. And which isn't like American Idol kind of competition. Well, we find out later on that these boys, their uncle's the guy who runs the camp, the British guy who he used to perform with the Stones, and he name drops all sorts of rock stars when he's talking to Mitchie's mom, but how it makes him feel much more important. He used to be a bass player for a band. Is it the White Crows? Or maybe his accent made me think they were called the Wet Crows. I don't know, but either way, he's he's a former rock star who is now running a camp for rock children, and has basically proven that you do not get to become a star based on talent or going to camp. It's because you're related to somebody or know somebody who is in the business. That's it. That's how it works. Name off just about any famous person that in music right now who does not have that kind of connection. There's very few. I can't think of any. Anyway, as you know, with the story, I'm not going to spoil it all for you, but of course, you have to have Joe and Demi get together and they create a sort of a love-hate relationship. They nitpick at each other. He disrespects her because he's a rock star, and she disrespects him because she doesn't take any of his BS and doesn't treat him like a rock star. And so he finds that kind of endearing, and she finds him kind of endearing after a while when she sees that he's letting down his guard and playing music that isn't like his cliche pop music that he's been forced to do all of his life. Of course, you get to see a Jonas Brothers song performed on a stage without amplification. There's no speakers, there's no sound system, but and there's not even like drums or keyboard until like I'm kind of glad they did this. You can look off to the side, like his brother, like Shane's brothers show up to perform a song at the camp, and they just bring their guitars, and you're just like, where are all the drums and the keyboards and everything else coming from, and why is this mixed so perfectly? Well, you look off to the main side of the main stage, and there's a small stage with like a bunch of teenagers just strumming away at extra guitars and drums and keyboards to fill out the sound. So rather than putting focus on them, putting too many people on the main stage, they just put the Jonas Brothers on there, and you just lip sync a track, and you're good. So yeah, there's kind of things you have to understand with these kind of things. They're like a sci-fi or fantasy film. I mean, they're not meant to reflect real life. Beyond the whole, you got to know somebody in the business thing, which is how it is, rather than going to camp to become famous. It's also the fact that everybody instantly knows how to do choreographed dance for whatever song that was just invented 30 seconds before, or on the fly. They all do whatever kind of dancing moves they have. They all do it on the first try. Except for one kid who apparently can't dance because he's a drummer and he has no rhythm? I don't know. Either way. There's so much going on in this, but there's really nothing going on in this. There's, what do you call it? Like I said, the cliche stuff where there's montages of people training to, their performance, and like you get to see there's an upshot of Demi Lovato and her friend performing on some really high rocks, like way above, and just keyboard. Like, why are you practicing up there? That's got to be acoustically horrible. Two, who's running power to that all the way out there? Why are you doing? How is that possible? I hate to be the sound guy in that. I know a lot of sound guys, and I can tell you those sound guys would hate camp rock. Period. So, if you're a sound guy, gal, if you're a sound person, you will hate camp rock because it can't exist without you, and they act like you never exist or wouldn't be needed in such a situation. Of course, the big battle at the very end, the last jam or something like that, it pulls people apart, brings them together. Of course, there's forgiveness, and there's team-ups, and there's a surprise performance, and of course there's a moment when our star gets to shine, and there's a little goosebump moment. Yes, even I got the little goosebump moments, only because I like that. I'm a sucker for the kind of musical synergy when certain voices come together in a certain way, whether I like the song or not. It's just I like it when it comes together and they just harmonize and just perform perfectly, because it's all pre-recorded and it's not live at all. But you can't have it where it's really performed in a barn at camp. That's just not going to be a thing. So yeah. Who wins? Well, that's a surprise. It actually is a surprise. It's not who you think. But because that person literally comes out of nowhere. They're a C plot that literally rises to the front. And it's. If you like Demi Lovato, if you like the Jonas Brothers, yes, you've already seen this. I don't need to recommend it to you. You'll just see how well it's aged. This movie is, good grief, 14 years old? It's older than the kids who probably saw it the first time. So at this point, you're probably almost 30, and so go back and watch it again and see if it ages at all well in any kind of reality. So, um, maybe you'll still like the songs. You know, it's part of your youth. This is just again, this is the kind of thing where I can't judge it too harshly because honestly, it's not made for me. It's not made for anybody with my sensibilities or taste or age. Um, so yeah, it's you can take it or leave it. But if you don't ever have any interest in watching this, you're really not missing anything. But again, if you love these people, these performers, go for it. This is to me, the Jonas Brothers have only gotten more appealing as they got older and they actually found their comedic chops. I mean, there's one guy, one of them is always the dummy, and the one's a sensible one, and I guess one's the sexy one or something. I don't know. They're all just, they're the Three Stooges of post boy band pop rock. So, yeah. Disney. Disney inspired, created pop rock, whatever. So yeah, Camp Rock. It is what it is. That's really all I can say. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
471.
471. Okay, 471. Oh, well, overshot that really well. Oh, okay. Well, this is interesting. I this is a documentary. I don't know if it's a single one or if it's a series, but if it's a series, we'll watch maybe one or two episodes, depending on how long they are. I have a feeling we'll get the idea of it pretty quickly, but this is actually something that I do find interesting, so who knows how far I'll go with this. We're going to watch Stuntman. Stuntman. So, yeah, stunts and such. So, yeah. Some kind of behind the scenes thing on how stuntmen work. Stunt women, stunt people, stunt persons. Alright. Enough of that. We're going to watch Stuntman tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.